it too soon for Christmas arrangements? I don't think so. Join me while we start our Christmas preparation. Welcome back everyone, my name is Sharon and I'm going to talk you through a beautiful Christmas design today. I am filming in September, but there are lots of Christmas accessories in the shop and I do have an ulterior motive as to why I'm talking about Christmas this early. We'll talk about that as the video progresses. Now today I'm using a glass vase. And it's a vase that has this really beautiful decoration on the inside. So it has a silver colouring and it's to replicate sort of trees, silhouettes of trees that maybe would be in the woodland or the forest. I'm not going to arrange flowers inside. I'm going to put the floral foam on top of the container. And what I have done, and I'm hoping the camera is going to pick it up, you can see just on the back here, I've got a battery pack and that is attached to a string of fairy lights. Hopefully, not quite sure whether the camera will pick that up yet, but when it gets darker tonight, I'll photograph it and then you'll be able to appreciate the colour much better. But I've incorporated just an ordinary set of fairy lights that you can pick up from most shops, most high street shops. And this one has a flat battery pack, but once I finish the design, what I will do is I will hide that within the foliage at the back of the design. For a moment, I'm just going to attach it on there to make it easy for me to work with it. And it's just attached with some blue tack for the moment, but we lose that in the flowers when the design is finished. You might have also spotted these fabulous baubles. Now these make me laugh. I have fond memories for these beautiful silver little baubles. These were gifted to me by a flower club in Cornwall, so Creative Leisure Group. If anybody's watching, hello. We had a little bit of a chuckle during my workshop and when I left they donated me these really interesting shaped balls. Spheres maybe is a better word. And I am wondering, although I'm going to use them as a sort of Christmas bauble, I'm thinking that they were originally a part of lights, of some type of decorative light, whether it's a wall light or a ceiling light, because there are very small screws. So I'm wondering if you would undo them to be able to get to the bulb that will be in the centre. But what I've done with these, I've added 2 strong florist wire crossways, and then I have a nice support to hold them into the floral foam. So we'll pop those to one side. You've probably guessed what that colour combination is going to be for this design. I'm going to have some silvers and I'm going to introduce some white flowers to really give me quite a classic and simple colour combination. Now I have a piece of floral foam. This is just a bit less than 1/3 of a block. It's been pre-soaked and attached to the plastic dish. And the plastic dish sits quite comfortably on the top. If you didn't have a plastic dish, you could insert your foam directly into the base. But the reason I haven't done that is because you would see the foam as soon as I switched those decorative lights on. So that's going to sit on the top. So I'm just going to use the tape to attach my plastic dish to the vase. I'm a bit concerned that it's going to move around. So I'm going to use the Floral Fix. This is by the brand Oasis. And if you want to use a more environmentally friendly version, you can choose to use museum wax, which is more pliable. You have to leave it dry overnight. But for now, I'm going to use the Floral Fix. I'm going to put 2 pieces on top of my vase on opposite sides. Now, I've always been told that you shouldn't manipulate or play too much with the Floral Fix because it loses its strength, it picks up dust and debris from your fingers. But I do see lots of arrangers who manipulate it into a specific shape that they want to use. But straight away, I've got a good fix onto my vase. It's nice and stable, and I'm going to add over the top a little bit of the tape as well, just to make sure it's not going to fall off. If you're arranging at home, it doesn't become unbalanced and tip over. And what I'm also going to do is take my tape around the outside. So we'll get that stuck to the vase. Take that around the outside. Now this might cause me problems later because I need to make sure that this is a mechanic, so I need to make sure that the tape will be completely covered. So I might have to angle a few bits of foliage downwards, but I can address that at the end. What I want to do at the moment is make sure that it's stable in my container so that it doesn't fall out the minute I put some flowers into the vase, or into the foam in this case. And that's the preparation of my base done, so we can start adding in some flowers. I've got one of my favourites. I probably say that every time I do a video, but this is the Molucella, or the Bells of Ireland. I'm not going to use the full length because it is very tall, but I am going to go about twice the height of my container. So visually, I'm going to roughly guess where that would be. Possibly a bit too tall. Let's have a little think about that. Yeah, that's going to be too tall, so we'll go slightly smaller. And I really love the way the Molucella curves, so I'm going to make use of the curved material. I don't want to make it angle outwards because that draws your eye all the way over here, but that lovely curve is going to bring your eye back into the center of the design. And I've moved the camera back slightly so you can appreciate the top of the Bells of Ireland. Gorgeous, gorgeous shape. I really love using these. And I won't get rid of the smaller bits that I didn't use on the bottom because these will come in handy lower down to help cover my foam. And if I need to have any textural interest at the base, then that's going to work really well. Now with another piece of the Molucella, I'm going to go slightly lower down with the height. And at the moment I'm working on the left-hand side of my floral foam. So I'm anticipating that this is going to be a little bit asymmetrical with maybe some more visual weight over onto the side here, which will really follow through with those beautiful curves. So that's my first two flower placements. I have got a lot of foam here showing on the side, but as we work through the arrangement, we'll cover that. But I'm going to, I think, put in, now my next flower is the wonderful white Chincherinchee. The head at the moment is quite small and it's not showing a great deal of colour. But when it does open up, it's a really interesting shape. It's got lots of small white flowers with a black dot in the centre. And what I'm going to do with these is continue the line from the top down towards the bottom. And as I work my way down, I'm going to use a more open Molucella Chincherinchee as I work my way down. At the moment, I'm quite high, and I haven't brought anything down towards the base, but we'll work on that as we progress through. Now I started with my green flowers towards the back of the foam, and as I've worked forward, I'm coming forward in the foam as well. We've still got plenty of room at the back for me to put some greenery in, and I've got flowers at the front here to put my baubles and my more open and larger flowers, which will help to create that focal point. But what the two flowers are doing so far is making your eye travel all the way down, and it gives it a nice rhythmic movement. Right, now I'm going to introduce these lovely big silver baubles, a fabulous link between my container, and these ones are going to sit to the right hand side. And the reason that I'm putting them to the right is because I have some textured foliage, and the three of them are going to cluster together. And straight away, that's going to give me a beautiful link between my container and my arrangement. Now, I've been to Hobbycraft this morning, and Hobbycraft is a craft supplies here in the UK. And I've picked up this really pretty little snowflake sort of accessory. It's quite tall and slim. And I'm going to use this just again to swoop out onto one side. Ideally, I would like this to have been silver, but they didn't have anything that I liked in the silver colour. So what I'm going to do is remove the bottom section there. And I'm just going to manipulate this top piece to spread out the snowflakes so they're not quite so heavy. And what I need to do is almost bend it so that it's following the curve that I've created with my fresh flowers. I would like this to go quite tall. It's quite a tough stem, so sometimes you might need to use a wire cutter just to cut the base off. But my florist scissors are strong enough. So what I'm going to do with this is place it quite high and possibly go at the back. See how that's going to work. That's lovely, I like that. And then with a smaller section that I took off the bottom, so consider sometimes that you don't have to use the whole stem all in one go. What I'm going to do with this one is bring that white colour in and that texture of the snowflake down a little bit closer to the floral foam. So again, it's creating that sort of rhythmic line from top to bottom, and it's really exaggerating that curve. Now, there are a few reasons why I'm talking you through Christmas decorations in September. One of the reasons is because I've just released a Christmas 5-week online course. If you're interested in participating in it, then I will link the information in the description box. It's an online course, it's 5 weeks. You can participate either in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, or you can join me in the evening at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to talk through a few different Christmas designs and demonstrate 5 different designs that you could use in the home for Christmas. Now, the price I think is fairly reasonable, and there are 2 options for you. So you can join me live, and that will cost you £50, and that's £50 for 5 weeks. So that only works out at £10 per session, which I think's quite a good price. And what you need to remember is that you don't have to buy flowers, you don't have to submit anything to be marked or judged. You just need to turn up with your glass of wine or your gin and tonic, or if it was me, a nice warm cup of tea, and you can sit in the comfort of your own home and learn how to make 5 interesting floral designs. There's going to be something there for the hallway, or something that you could use for the church, so the design is suitable for home or for the church. There's going to be a table arrangement or 2, an arrangement for the mantelpiece, and I'm going to talk you through and instruct you on how you will be able to create these designs at home. So if you're not in the same time zone as me, then you can watch the recorded version, and that will cost you £35. And if you want to join me live, that's £50. And then you can participate in questions and answers at the end, and you will be with me step by step as I teach you how to make those 5 designs. You'll need to book online. The only way that you can join the course is by booking online, and that's because the procedure for me to be able to send you all the relevant information is automatically done through my website. It's too much for me to be able to process if you email me or if you ring to book onto the course. You can email me for information by all means, but I won't be able to book you onto the course via email. Right, so when I've been talking about the Christmas course, I've introduced some pine. And if you remember a moment ago, I mentioned that these are quite shiny and glossy, and against the texture of the spiky pine, I've really got a good contrast in material. And even though I suggested the design was going to, I'm not sure if I did, I might have mentioned that the design was going to be asymmetrical, so slightly longer on one side. I'm also bringing in some natural movement over here with the fabulous pine. Now, this is what I would refer to as white pine. I'm not quite sure if that's something I've been taught or something that I've made up, but it is a pine that will grow in the UK. If you don't have pine like I have here, you could use eucalyptus, privet, anything that has a slight bit of movement to it and isn't quite so rigid, and it works really well at draping down over the side of the container. I'm a bit concerned that this one is too long, so I'm just going to cut him a little bit shorter and tuck him closer to the foam. And hopefully you can see on camera that I'm starting to hide and disguise those mechanics there, and you can't see my floral tape as much as you did in the very beginning. Okay, so we've got a little bit of an outline shape starting. This design would be fabulous on a hall table or a coffee table if it's up against a wall. You could even do a matching pair of these for either side of the altar. You could use gladioli instead of the flower choice I've got, and you can use some basic supermarket flowers to create the lines of movement that I'm using here. But my next flower is a white Gerbera, and I've used these a couple of times recently. I love the Gerbera for its simplicity, and I always think it works well in these very simple designs. But it's a round shape, so if you think about flowers that have that rounded shape, you can use a carnation or a rose. Dahlias this time of the year would be fabulous. And I'm going to bring a little bit of movement from one side to the other with the stronger, more open flower head. I'm quite experienced at arranging flowers, so I knew roughly in my head what I was planning on doing, so I wasn't worried about putting those large baubles in first. But if you're concerned about not having enough space in your foam, then you can always add in the decoration after you've completed the design. What you need to try and avoid is making it look like it's been put in as an afterthought. It needs to look like it's an integral part of the flower arrangement. Okay, so I've got one more Gerbera because in this case 5 work a little bit better than that really straight diagonal set of 5. I'm going to bring one up a little bit higher. Hopefully you get that lovely rhythmic line running through the middle. That's all my flowers. I have got more foliage to put in. We'll just turn it all the way around so you can see the back. You can see that there's still a vast quantity of foam, and this is going to be covered with some more foliages, and I'll talk you through what I've got. Now my first piece is some very basic conifer. Again, this could be anything that you can get hold of from your local vicinity or your own garden. And I've used a little bit of the silver spray just to give it a bit of decoration. And this is the Oasis brand, but there's lots of different brands that you can use. If you can't get hold of anything like this, you can use car paint. A car supplies shop anywhere near you, then look for some car paint. You can even use some silver gilt just to wipe over the top. But that one is super silver. And this is going to give me, again, that lovely link with the silver colours. I haven't over sprayed it because sometimes I think it looks artificial and a little bit nasty, bit harsh and a bit unkind in the arrangement. So I've just given it a very soft dusting, and I'm going to group it together on this side here. It's a fabulous contrast again with my shiny, harsh looking baubles. A little bit angled down towards the side is going to help cover that plastic tape and give me a seamless line between my arrangement and my container. I don't always remember to mention this, but you're looking at the arrangement from a slightly different angle from me. From where I'm looking at the moment, I've completely covered my tape, but you're at a little bit of a lower angle, so you might still be able to see the floral tape. Now what I'm going to do with these little offshoots, I'm going to bring these in from the side. It's going to help bring that green colour in all the way to the bottom. It's going to help cover my foam, and it means that I'm not wasting the bottom little parts of my flower. Okay, so let's bring that round to the back. Now it starts getting a little bit harder to insert the flowers because I'm starting to run out of floral foam, and that's generally a good guideline to stop adding any more flowers. If you're starting to get resistance, stop putting any more flowers in, otherwise the whole design is going to fall apart. Okay, so how are we doing so far? I think that's doing quite well. Now, I do mention this quite often when I am doing a tutorial. Sometimes when I photograph the design, I move 1 or 2 flowers around because I'm photographing in 2 dimension and I'm looking at this in 3 dimension. So if I feel that it doesn't look right in the photo, I will move an odd flower around. Okay, so my final foliage, I think it's my final foliage, is going to be the lovely white poplar. And this I thought was an amazing colour. It's a silvery grey, so it's going to pick up really well on my colours in the arrangement. It probably hasn't been in water for a long enough period of time. You can just see the top is flopping over, so I am going to remove that. Now, I'll let you into a bit of a secret. When I drive to work in the mornings, or when I drive home in the nights, on the bypass is this gorgeous white poplars, and when it blows in the wind you get the two-tone colourings. It's almost like sparkly glitter on the side of the road, and it always really cheers me up. And I've been waiting to start the Christmas decorations because I've been wanting to use this for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's going to add some actual weight to the back of the arrangement to stop it falling over. Remember, when you've got a high container like this, you need to have weight to stop it tipping over. I picked it yesterday morning and it's been in water overnight, but it probably could have done with a little bit longer just for the tips of the foliage to recover. And if you haven't learned a lot about conditioning of flowers, then it's really important that you don't cut the foliage and use it straight away. That includes flowers as well. This one you can see is standing up much better, and that's probably because it's a shorter stem and it's got less distance for the water to travel up the stem. And now what I'm doing with this beautiful foliage, I'm just covering the back so the grey colouring links really well with the silver tones in my base. And I'm going to add some contrasting material here with the last few bits of conifer. And I think we're almost done. One little piece in there. So if we look at this from the back section, my foam is completely covered, which is really important. And as we work our way around to the front, I've got a design that's slightly longer on one side. It's almost like a lazy S. It's not a full Hogarth curve where we bring the bottom section all the way around so it's underneath the top flower, but it does have that very, very natural lazy S shape to it. So it's the start of the Christmas season. I would highly recommend that at this time of the year you go looking for accessories in the pound shops and your local supermarkets, because there's normally a huge choice this time of the year. And then you can colour coordinate your design and create something that will match your interior or contrast. I chose white because I felt it was a really good link with my silver container, but the world's your oyster. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do so. Hit that bell to be notified every time a new tutorial is available. And if you want information on the Christmas course or the new spring course that's going to start in the new year, then email me on the address below, pop over to the website on the address below, and if you want to join me on Facebook, look for Sharon's Innovations Group and you'll receive a discount code for 10% off the Christmas course. What else can we do? Early Christmas present for you all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again very soon, and bye for now.